Welcome, welcome. So for those of you who don't know, this is the kickoff stream for the Thorns and Roses book club. I have Sarah and Angela with me. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Angela, you want to go first?
Oh, sure. Hi, I'm Angela Ann. I'm the friend of all the good YA book recs and literary lifestyle tips, and I post videos here on YouTube and make reels / TikToks and Instagram posts.
Awesome. I'm Sarah Lebrot. I post videos here to YouTube about writing a book, and slowly as I'm getting back into reading, this book club's really going to help me with that. I've started making a little bit more book content, and it's just kind of up in the air. We'll see what happens, but I'm so excited to reread these books.
Yeah, so these lovely ladies and I have put together a book club to do a reread for us or first read for whoever's doing that of the Thorns and Roses series before the 5th technically book comes out on the 16th of February. I don't know, what do you guys call it? Like, I call it the 5th book, I guess, but it's super weird to say that. Like,
I've just been calling it the next book, but also a lot of numbers. So I think we'll get the number right in the series.
But yeah, I have no idea what to call it.
I don't know what they call it on Goodreads. Usually they have like numbers associated with them, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, so A Court of Silver Flames is coming out on February 16th. So we have a Discord group created for this. The link is in the description below. We have quite a few people in there already, but if you are not part of it, go ahead and click the link and you can add yourself to it. So the Discord group is where we're going to have discussion questions. There is a tab in there for the ACOTAR book. It's locked right now. I haven't put the discussion questions in it yet, but I will after this stream. And you guys can go in there and it's just kind of some questions to get you thinking about it. And that's what we're going to discuss on the first live stream in about a week where we actually talk about the books. So, yeah, I don't know. There's lots of fun stuff in the Discord group. If you guys, I guess we'll go through that just really quickly here. So there's, just the general channels. There's a welcome channel for new people. There's a general one. There's also a channel for each of the books. So there's going to be discussion questions associated with each book, and that's kind of what we're going to go through to facilitate discussion in the different live streams. Today, we're starting the A Court of Thorns and Roses book, the first one, and the date of the live stream where we're going to discuss that, I believe, is the 9th of January. There is a playlist linked in the description as well, so you guys can go and check that out. There's the only stream in there right now is this stream. We haven't created these streams for the rest of the days yet, but we will. And yeah, there's also a tab in the Discord tab. I don't know. I don't really use Discord that much. I don't really know what people call them. But there's one for the live stream discussions, which is where I'll post the links to the live streams. So you can kind of just go straight from the Discord. And there's also 2 other random categories. There's a snack recipes category. I thought it would be fun to share any snack recipes that you like. I'm going to put some in there before the next book club. I'll probably make something too. I just wanted to kind of facilitate or simulate like an actual book club. If we were meeting in person, we'd have snacks. So and then there's a fan art tab as well. So anybody who draws or does anything fun like that, feel free to share some work in there. But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to add?
I think we're planning on scheduling the rest of the live streams later today. So all of that will be taken care of very shortly. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Brooke, but like all of the live streams are on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, correct?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And they're going to be on a combination of all of our channels. So that's why we have a playlist, so you can just kind of navigate from there. But yeah.
Cool.
Also, if anyone ever does any like Instagram updates or like YouTube vlogs or anything fun from the book club, also put that in the Discord because we can hype each other up.
Yeah, for sure. And all of us have, we've been kind of talking about this a bit on Instagram. I don't have our Instagrams linked in the description, but I can put them in there as well. I think you can find us all by the names that are down here. So And also, we're going to be doing some kind of fun stuff during this as well. We have some templates created for Instagram stories. So I'll be posting some of that where you can, do like little would you rather, but it's like you pick blank or blank or, things like that, if that made any sense. But yeah, I'm just going to start off going through the comments, and then we have some questions for you guys just to start off. And I think we're going to do some reading sprints today too. So that fits, book club reading sprints. Makes sense. So Alex is here. Hello. Good morning. Afternoon. Courtney is here. Hello. Kelly is here. Kira is here. I think it's the 4th. I don't know what that was too.
I think what book it is in the series.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. I don't
like it technically is the 4th if you don't count the novella.
Yeah.
Is it the novella considered it's either 2.5 or 3.5? I want to say I'm good.
Yeah, you're right. It's something 0.5. Here, let's see. I'll look it up on Goodreads because I know that they have. Okay, so A Court of Frost and Starlight is 3.1, they say, and then A Court of Silver Flames is 4. So,
okay,
I don't know. Rereading, nice. That's really exciting. I think all 3 of us are rereading too. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I've read them because I read them all right when they came out. So the first one, it's like.
When did it come out? How many years has it been?
It was a while. I was still in high school for both A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury.
Wow.
Let's see. 2015.
Okay.
So, it's been, sometimes when I make TikToks about the Sarah J Maas books, so a lot of the book series I make TikToks about, sometimes I feel bad because it's been so long since I've read it. I'm just hoping I get the plot right.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. When did you last read them, Sarah?
Great question. I think I read the first. I would have read them in college, and then I never finished reading the novella.
Right.
So I will finish rereading/reading that one for this book club. But yeah, college. And then I recently, a couple months ago, read the first half of A Court of Mist and Fury.
Right.
When I was trying to get out of my reading slump.
Okay. Yeah, I've probably read them the most recently, I guess. I think I read A Court of Frost and Starlight only a few months ago. I say a few, but it's probably been 6. I think I finished A Court of Frost and Starlight, and then that's when I started Throne of Glass. But yeah, I think I read all 3 of them this year at some point. All 4, sorry. Yes, Courtney says, set aside most of my January TBR. Yeah, me too. Same. RP is here. Hello, you made it. Book 4. Yes, you're right. Book 4. Hello. Oh, I like your avatar. Night Court. Very fitting.
Love it.
Books on Peak is here. Hello. Athena, welcome. Courtney said she never finished the novella either. I think a lot of people didn't like it. I really did like it, but that's discussion for 5 live streams from now.
I remember I read it in one afternoon around Christmas time, and that's I feel the perfect way to read it, which
totally
can't do that for this.
It's a very Christmassy, it's a very Christmassy setting, right?
It is,
yeah. It's really short. I think it's only, if I remember correctly, it's 299 pages, I believe. So, it's not. Yeah. Just read them earlier this year. Now wanting to do it again. Yeah, me too.
Awesome.
On another random note, I'm also wanting to reread Crescent City again. I don't know why, but I'm just having the urge to do that. But I'm also the new one's coming out in November, so I'm gonna want to reread it before that.
I just got Crescent City for Christmas, and it's the one Sarah J Maas book I haven't read yet. But it's so big. I'm it's going to be such an investment.
Yeah,
scary.
Just a warning too, the first few hundred pages are pretty hard to get through. It was a lot of info dumping and world building, and it was just I was oh my gosh. But then after that, it was really good.
That's how From Blood and Ash was too. I know Brooke.
Totally. Yeah.
It's like the first 200 pages. There's like no plot in From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout.
Yeah, I saw that on your story, and I was like, oh.
It's so good after that. I'm so excited for the next book. But it was really odd too because I've read a lot of Jennifer Armentrout before, and usually books are like super fast paced. I was like, oh, what's going on here?
I'm excited. I'm hoping that I'm gonna really like it, and then I'm gonna like read more of her stuff. But we'll see. I guess I don't know. I bought them, so 4 years. Yeah, that's fun though, because like that's almost like it's not, but it's almost like reading it for the first time again when you've like you've not read it in so long. Mm-hmm. I wish I could read them for the first time again. Addison says they only read the first book. Well, that's fun. You'll get to read the rest of them. Athena says, I just got the series right before I found this book club. Oh, that's so exciting. RP mentioned earlier that he doesn't have any of the books with him where he's at right now, but still haven't read Crescent City, gonna wait until just before November. Yeah, I mean, like that's, at this point, why not, right? Mm-hmm. So I have a few just like questions. We've kind of talked about it like a little bit, but these are kind of more pointed questions here. So have you read the books before? We just discussed that. We all have. So let us know in the comments if you've read them before. Most of you answered this, so I'm probably just going to move on to the next question and go through the answers after. What are your expectations if you haven't read them before? I kind of want to ask you guys, like, what did you think of the series before you read them? What kind of expectations did you have? Sarah, you probably read lots of Throne of Glass before that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's another question I have for you too. Angela, I think I know Brooke's answer, but Angela, did you read Throne of Glass first or A Court of Thorns and Roses?
So I definitely started Throne of Glass first. Both Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses, I read all the books as soon as they came out, except for the 2 novellas. I read those like at random times, but like the rest of the books, like as soon as they came out, I had read them.
Okay.
So but like there was a little bit of overlap between the 2 series, where like the A Court of Thorns and Roses books were coming out and Throne of Glass later books were coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely started with Throne of Glass. I think I started when the first 3 books were out, and then I like binge read all of them, found out that she was releasing A Court of Thorns and Roses, hopped over to that one, and then kind of, switched back and forth as they were being released. I was super excited as soon as I found out that it was like a Hades and Persephone retelling, as well as like 2 other retellings, because she mixed like 3 different fairy tales or something.
I thought it was a Beauty and the Beast retelling.
I've heard it's a Beauty
probably it. Sounds right, for sure. I mean, it's fine. It's a retelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely didn't like think that when I read it the first time. Like that was not what I was thinking while I was reading. It was like, oh wow, this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Like, I don't know.
But I remember, I think it was because of the age when I read them, because I was still like, I'm gonna say like 16 and then like 17 or 18. It's probably 17 when I read A Court of Mist and Fury. But I remember I was very shocked by how inappropriate they were. I see like Alex said in the comments, I remember I thought it was going to be YA. Huge surprise when it wasn't. I feel like that's kind of what I was like, oh, this is a new thing.
Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was originally supposed to be new adult, but then the new adult genre like tapered off with traditional publishing. Mm-hmm. So then it was marketed as YA, even though it's totally not YA.
But it's also like not super adult. So like
it's not. It's not, you can't market it as adult because they're like 17, right? So or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah. I read them when I was like 21. I don't even know. 22? How old am I? Yeah. So like, I don't know. I mean, it didn't really faze me, but then like, I was like, oh my God, this is supposed to be young adult. Like, what is this? I was like, do I just not know what young adult is anymore? But yeah. But I'm very partial to the ACOTAR series. Not necessarily like over Throne of Glass, but like ACOTAR is just like my first love from Sarah J Maas. So it's kind of like, I don't know. But
that's fair.
Just read them recently, so the story's fresh. Yeah, that's fair. Same. Haven't read them, expecting lots of cliche, trashy romance fantasy. Plenty of enemies to lovers. Well, you will not be disappointed. I think maybe the second book was Hades and Persephone retelling. I'm not familiar with Hades and Persephone.
I could kind of see that, maybe.
Yeah, I can too. That makes sense.
It's not YA. Yeah, it is. Technically, it is the YA genre, but the content isn't really YA. RP, you remember the scene that we sent you from the A Court of Mist and Fury?
Right.
It's mature YA. Yes, that's a good.
It's like upper YA. Like, I feel like upper YA is almost like this new emerging genre. I was reading somewhere it's like 20-somethings aren't moving on to adult books, so they're basically just making young adult books sound like adult books, but like so basically like making 16, 17, but they act like adults.
Mm-hmm. That makes total sense.
That's what this would fall under.
Also, yes, I don't know how old I am ever. It was just my birthday like a couple months ago. I don't know. So like I can't keep track of it. You know, it changes every year.
Didn't you get the age wrong? Like, didn't you overage yourself for a bit?
In one of my videos last year, I said I was 23 and I was like, I don't know, I was like 4 or 5 months away from my 23rd birthday. And I didn't realize that I did that until I was like looking at some paperwork from my work and it said that I was 22. I was like, oh my God. But I had uploaded it. It was too late to go back and change it. So, yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty funny. But I don't know. Now I have like a complex that whenever I say like how old I am, I'm like, wait, might be wrong. So don't ever believe me. Soup. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Got to Throne of Glass first. Yeah, totally though. That's totally it. Like, I feel like whatever you read first, it's like you're really attached to it. But
that's exactly how I feel about these two books. So Books on Peak were on the same wavelength.
So my personal opinion on like that last comment was I like love Throne of Glass so much, but because there's 8 books, I like forgot what has happened because so much has happened and there's so many freaking characters that like I am still trying to read Kingdom of Ash. I'm sorry, Brooke.
No, don't be sorry. It's fine.
But like I can't remember what happened.
It's like literally sometimes I would like read a book from Kingdom of Ash, from Throne of Glass, and like partway through I would be like, wait, what happened at the beginning? And like, it is though. It's very difficult to keep track. For anyone who doesn't know this, Sarah and I were buddy reading Kingdom of Ash in December.
Sorry.
But it was so funny because like at the beginning, Sarah was like ahead of me in the reading. You were like at page 160 and I was still like at like 90 something, but then yeah.
And then that changed. And I'm still at 160 and Brooke is finished.
I finished
so
much. Yeah.
My bad.
But it was good though. It was fun.
Sorry, I had to move my books. You guys just reminded me that the Throne of Glass series up there was in the wrong order.
Oh my gosh.
That's important.
Yeah.
Kingdom of Ash though. I bought it as soon as it came out and I remember I read the entire thing in one sitting, which is like insane. Like
Kingdom of Ash? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like 998 pages or something.
How long of a sitting?
I like got home from my internship. I gotten home a little bit early that day, so it was like 4 p.m. and it was Friday, and I like made popcorn and just sat there for like a giant thing of popcorn, and then read it. And I like looked up, and it was like 2 a.m. and the book was done.
Oh my gosh!
It was intense. Like I didn't even know what time was because I was so invested in it.
That's crazy.
That's what I like need to do. I'll figure it out. At some point, I'll finish it.
Kira said that they read Throne of Glass first, but never been able to get past book 4. Always lost interest. Tried 3 times to read it and failed. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that. Like long series can get like that, especially for me. if I like leave it for too long, and then I like Sarah, if I was in your position trying to read like KOA after not reading the rest of them for so long, I would literally have to go back and reread the rest of the series because that's just the type of person I am.
If we weren't doing this book club, I might.
Fair.
So I can't do that to myself right now.
I get anxious about rereading books. This will be the first time I reread a book that's not a Jane Austen novel. And it's because like I feel like whenever I'm rereading books that like I'm wasting time not reading new stuff. And so like my theory is always like, well, if they're gonna throw me into the next book in a series, they should at least re-explain what just happened so I know what's going on and I'll figure it out along the way. So
Like a recap it.
Like a recap, yeah.
The recap on TV shows.
Just like do that for 4 or 5 pages in the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
In ACOTAR.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And contemporary series usually have a recap, I've noticed. But like fantasy series never do, especially Leigh Bardugo, because some of Leigh Bardugo's books I've read like really far apart. And I'm like, I don't even remember who these characters are anymore. And like,
Gosh. I don't even know who Leigh Bardugo's characters are while I'm reading the book. I had so much trouble with Six of Crows. It just hurt me.
That's all I remember.
What's that?
Just the Darkling from the Shadow and Bone series.
Oh my gosh.
What do you remember from that series?
I've never read that. The only book I've read of hers is Six of Crows. But also for some reason, I kept like thinking like Leigh Bardugo, and I was like, oh, like it's a guy, because like I thought like Lee, like Lee. I didn't know that it was like Leigh, and then somebody was talking about their book, and they were like, oh, her series. And I was like, oh my god, I've just been wrong about this the whole time. Yeah, I'm actually doing so many rereads this year. I'm rereading whatever the series is called, ACOTAR, and The Mortal Instruments, so that's like 6 books, and then The Hunger Games too. So
That'll be so fun though.
I'm excited. I'm excited to reread The Hunger Games, like, and The Mortal Instruments. Obviously, I wouldn't do it if I wasn't excited to do it, but I don't know. Yeah, year of rereads, I guess. Yes, Chelsea. Sorry, that's my bad. I just can't keep everyone straight in my head. Like there's, but yes, now I'll remember. Yeah, it is an investment. I spent 6 months reading those 8 books, so.
It's not even the same series when it's over, to be honest. Like the first, like Heir of Fire changed everything. Like Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight are just like something completely different than the rest.
Totally. Yeah, I love Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight though. Like it's just, I don't know. It's just something about the first books in a series just really get me.
I had trouble adjusting, honestly, to Heir of Fire.
Me too.
All of that. And like Manon and stuff. I had so much trouble adjusting.
Yeah, I feel that. I love how you have all your top shelf.
Chelsea, I think we're like the same person.
I love it.
It's the Sarah J Maas shrine. We all have one.
We all have one. Okay, I have one more question. The last question is, are you a part of the Discord group? So just a reminder, it's in the description. If the link isn't working, let me know, because it does that sometimes. I don't know why, but just to be difficult. But yeah, do you guys have any more questions that you want to add? I just threw these together like 3 minutes before we started this stream.
I don't think so. I'm excited to reread.
Okay, well, on that note, what is my hair doing? Do we want to start some reading sprints?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. What do you guys think of 20 minutes, or should it be longer because it's a reading sprint? I don't normally do reading sprints, so I don't know if we like them longer or what.
Never done a reading sprint before.
Okay, well, we'll start with 20, and then if anybody in the comments has suggestions for reading sprints, like times, let us know, because I know that like for me, I feel like it depends, but sometimes with reading sprints, like I'll just like get into them and then it's like, oh, it's over, so let us know. But we'll start with 20 minutes. I'm going to grab a timer here. And I'm excited because I'm going to be annotating these for the first time. When I read Throne of Glass, it like wasn't my copy. So like I've actually never read this copy. So I'm really excited. I was thinking about reading my like special edition copy, and then I was like, ooh, I shouldn't do that.
You reminded me, I should go get a pen because one of my goals for 2021 is to be
Yeah.
more intentional when I read. And so I'm trying to like annotate more and like just like take note of things more. Because I don't know if anyone else this way, but I feel like I like binge books and then like I don't process them completely.
Totally.
So, I'm gonna go grab a pen.
Okay. All right. Oh, I guess I can take this off here. Okay. So we have 20 minutes on the timer. Happy reading, everybody. We'll see you in 20 minutes. And just a reminder, we're just doing reading sprints. The actual discussion of this is going to happen on the 9th, which is next Saturday. So try not to do any spoilers in the comments just for people who have not read the series. But yeah, okay, we'll see you in 20 minutes. Okay, that's the end of the first sprint. I could not find the button to bring us back to this view. Let us know how you did in the comments. How did you guys do? Sarah, do you want to start?
Well, I didn't end up reading because I also was not super prepared for this. I don't actually have the ACOTAR book with me right now.
Yeah.
So I am hanging on to Kingdom of Ash. I didn't open it during this one. I got like breakfast because I haven't eaten breakfast yet and set up my habit tracker for January. So it's productivity, but not reading on this one. Just to like set me up so that I can read in the next one.
Are you doing a video about your habit tracker?
I know.
You're not? Can I ask you what habits you're tracking?
Sure.
Some of them?
I just decided. So
okay.
I want to track, because my new job is going to be remote. I want to track what days I actually like get outside, because that's huge. And then it's like what time I get up at, what time I go to bed by, whether or not I wrote, worked on YouTube, I read, had 1 hour with no screens, journaling, tracking my mood, and like making sure that I like talk to a friend or family member like every day, is to like, especially living alone, that's kind of important. Yeah. So stuff like that.
Nice. Mm-hmm. That's fun.
I have a habit tracker too, but it's like a virtual one on Notion. But I only track I track 8 things, but they're mostly like, did you post on Instagram? Did you post on TikTok? Did you work out? Did you?
Yeah, really.
Like including ones like, did you go outside, or did you like see or talk to a friend? I should include stuff like that. I just don't want it to be like too long either.
That's fair.
I like this one because it's like 17 things or whatever, and it's so nicely fits, and it's like, it's just one that you can like download for free online, but like basically then all I have to do is like go down the line and just fill it in. So
yeah,
it's kind of fun.
Yeah. I got a little bit, I don't know if I would say I got distracted by TikTok, because I was adding new people to our club. So
yeah.
And then I read 22 pages of ACOTAR.
Oh my gosh. I read 11 and I like wasn't adding people to the Discord group. I don't even have an excuse.
Wow. I'm a really fast reader, which is actually part of the reason I want to try to read more intentionally.
Fair enough.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we have so many people. We have like 41 people in the Discord group now. I'm so excited.
Nice.
Yeah, this is probably a good time to remind everybody, if you haven't already, please give the stream a thumbs up. And, if you're not subscribed to any of us and you feel like you want to, go ahead and do that. Check us out on Instagram. We'll be posting lots about this on Instagram. Alex said they got a snack and only read 4 pages. That's great, though. Snacks are important. I just ate breakfast before this, so I was not distracted by food, but that's typically my biggest distraction during streams. Steffi got into chapter 2. Now I realize that I remember almost nothing. Fair. Yeah.
I remember like the vibe, if that makes sense. Like because I'm in chapter 2 right now too, I think, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember they were really poor.
Yeah.
They were desolate.
Yeah. Honestly, this beginning part just it's renewed my not hatred, but like kind of for like her siblings. They bother me a lot.
Yeah. I forgot, because they're not as bad in the later books. I was like,
no. Well, you don't see them for quite a while, like anyways. So yeah, me being like, don't post any spoilers, also me. Sorry, Sarah, go ahead.
I'm still not like the hugest fan of Nesta, and yet she's going to be the person that like the whole new book is about. So yeah. I have so many mixed feelings about it. I'm still going to read it, but so many mixed feelings.
I do too. I'm like excited just because like I want more of like the world, but I'm not excited about who's going to be telling the story. Like I'm just, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm also like a sucker for romance though, so I mean, like, I just can't really be mad about it. Yumna, hello. Yes, we are going to have a schedule to read. So for this first book, we're gonna be taking about a week. So our first live stream to discuss this book is going to be on Saturday, January 9th. I hope that's right. Does that sound right to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll also be posting all of that information in the Discord group after this. I'll have all the live stream links in there, so you can go check that out. The Discord link is in the description if you're not part of it, but I have a feeling you probably came from Angela's TikTok, so. But yes, so we will have a schedule. So this is about a week and a day-ish for this book. And then the larger books, the next two are going to be, we're going to have 2 weeks for each of those because they're quite large. So yeah. I read 10. How are you such a speedy reader? Yeah, I know. See, I find like it can be nice to not really remember that much because then you don't go in with these like preconceived like ideas of things, and it's just like you can just kind of like read it. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I would also like to know who pre-ordered the book. If anyone, like, let us know in the comments if you've pre-ordered A Quarter of Silver Flames. Have you? I feel like I know the answer to this, but have you guys pre-ordered it?
I've never pre-ordered a book before.
Oh, okay, fair.
Okay. Here's
You're muted, Angela.
No, I never pre-ordered a book before either.
I've only ever pre-ordered one. Sorry.
Which one was it?
I pre-ordered Midnight Sun in August when it came out, which is hilarious because I'm only halfway done.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's funny. There's just something so fun about getting to go to a bookstore and like buy the book that I don't like pre-ordering it because I love that experience.
I agree.
See,
yeah.
I don't think I'm going to be able to go into a bookstore when it comes out. So that's like, because I'm either going to pre-order it like to be sent to me, or I'm going to pre-order it for pickup. Because when I pre-ordered the book to be sent to me last time, it like didn't arrive on the day that the book came out, which like I thought it would, but it shipped on that day for some reason.
I've heard of that happening before, pre-orders. Like people get the book.
Yeah, like then like what's the point of pre-ordering? So I might order it to go like drive and pick it up at the store because like they'll like bring it out to your car. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Sounds like a good idea because you don't want to not get it for however long.
I know, exactly. So well, I'll see. Because yeah, like I don't want to like bank on the fact that like things are going to be back open at that point. And then it not come. So yeah, we'll see. It's actually on sale at Chapters right now. This is an expensive hardcover though. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but like it's like $38 Canadian. Yeah.
It would be less US dollars.
Less US, yeah, like quite a bit less. But like for me, $38 Canadian for a hardback is like expensive.
I noticed Sarah J Maas has been like upping the prices of her books recently.
Oh, really?
I bought The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Well, I didn't buy it, but I got it. My mom got it for me, and like I was looking at the price of it. It was like $26 US for their book. Yeah. What?
I know. It's crazy. Also, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue has been sold out in my bookstore, like my bookstore, the big bookstore here, like Indigo, Chapters, whatever. It's been sold out for months. Like, I had it in my cart, and I was like hesitating. I was like, am I going to order it? And I'm not going to order it. And then by the time I put in an order, it was like, this isn't available anymore. And I was like, are you kidding? It was like a day. But anyways. Alex asked, does anybody know if the map at the beginning is 2 maps or the same place, or are they different? Don't even ask what's going on over here. Bad things. It's fine.
Okay.
Do you guys have an answer to that? I'm like looking at it.
I was thinking it
earlier. I think it's like one continuous world. That's how I always interpreted it. Like,
I think so too. Oh, never mind. I was gonna be like, is Highburn on here? Yeah, it is. What do you think, Sarah? One map, 2 maps?
I don't have it in front of me. I think it's one.
I think so too. Yeah. Oh, it's easier to tell in the hardcover because you don't have like such a big separation. Like it's so like.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if I was telling you guys this. I feel like I told someone this and they were like, oh my gosh, but the map in the like special edition is like updated. Like it's like different. Yeah, it's really cool. But I don't know if it gives you any more information. It just looks nice. I agree about the hesitation on Nesta, but I'm trusting in the fact. Yeah, same. I don't know. I feel like I'm just gonna like it because it's ACOTAR. Like I don't think that I'm gonna dislike it, but I didn't like her like in any of the books. Like she was like my least favorite character.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Yeah,
like a
I didn't really like Lucian that much either, because isn't Lucian the other person whose point of view it is?
I thought it was Cassian.
Oh, Cassian. Okay. Wait.
Was it Cassian that you didn't like or Lucian?
Yeah. Okay. Wait, I'm just gonna type something in the group chat because I think I have something messed up here.
Okay.
Sorry, in the private chat because I don't want to spoil anyone who hasn't read this series yet.
For sure.
Here we go. Discord server, like a spoilers tab.
Oh, sure.
I can create that. I don't know how to create tabs, but
I'll do it. Yeah, that's great. I'll do it right now. Awkward silence. Okay. I think I'm making it not private. So what am I doing? Add members or roles? Do I have to add people to these channels? Can you guys not see the channels? Oh, I might have screwed this up.
okay, I was wrong with what I thought. Thank you, Sarah, for pointing that out. This will be like it's like I'm reading it for the first time.
Okay.
Look at it.
All right, I gotta look at this question now. Yeah, Sarah, you're right about that last point. It is. Okay, cool. Courtney said that they don't pre-order books. Don't know why. I mean, yeah, it kind of seems just like Sarah said, you can, it's just so much nicer to go into a bookstore and get it, right? Like if you have that ability. So yeah. I mean, for the longest time, I mean, I wasn't reading for a long time while I was in university, but then when I was a teenager, I lived in a place where like, it was like kind of remote, so you couldn't get things delivered like on demand like that. So yeah. Steffi said that they did pre-order it a while ago. That's exciting. I think there's like a pre-order, what do they call it? Like incentive. You can send your receipt in and they'll like give you like a little pin or something.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, oh, we did a whole live stream, me and Sarah did, about the cover change. We were a little salty, but.
Yeah, we did it on the day that the new cover was like released.
Yeah.
And we did not have positive things to say.
Almost nobody did. Yeah. No, it's bad. I think I'm probably just gonna end up buying just the new one and the new cover, and then you'll just hear me about how the covers don't match.
Yeah. I mean, the like kind of good part is that like like it's almost as if the first 3 books are like a trilogy, and then like I'm pretty sure there's 3 Nesta books too. So like you can kind of like separate them a little bit. Maybe you can like pretend they're 2 different series.
I think that's what I'm gonna do because I think there are supposed to be multiple. Just because I don't want to have to rebuy the 4 other books.
No, absolutely. I don't like any of those covers either. Like I'm not gonna spend money on covers that I don't like. Like they're just they're so loud. Like my bookshelf is not loud. I like the muted tones, you know? I don't know. They're almost like highlighter colors to me. Like, oh, but I guess that's the paperbacks though. The hardcovers are all like different. They match, I guess, with Court of Silver Flames. The hardcovers and the paperbacks have like different designs for some reason.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Hello. No, you're never late. It's all good. I think you're part of the Discord group, so you know what's going on anyway. Bought Addie Luru on sale on Indigo for 25 or 20 Canadian. Oh yeah, okay, you mentioned Canadian. Okay. Right now I want to read The Invincible Library by Matt Haig, but it's sold out at Indigo. Yeah, I I think, are you referring to the Midnight Library? But I got that a little while ago. It's very good. I would recommend it. Have you guys read that or know what it is? No? Okay.
I've heard of it, but I haven't read it. I don't know if I would like it. I'm very YA.
Yeah, it's very like dark too. Like it's not, I was not expecting that either. Like I was expecting it to be, I don't know, just regular, but it was very like, oh, very, very hard hitting. So yeah, think of the sisters as kind of like freeloaders. Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like they're just lazy and like, ugh. I highly dislike Nesta, but I used to like a main boy character in ACOTAR and hate him now. I wonder who that could be.
Yeah, no idea.
Maya said that they also pre-ordered the Nesta book because of a special pre-order freebie. Yeah, if you're talking about, is that the pin that I was talking about? I feel like that's what it is, but it could be something different. That's just what I heard about. Kira said they always pre-order, find it easier, less likely to forget. Yeah, that's true. I have a bunch of like new releases like written down in my planner so that I don't forget about them. Maya said also to rebuy the other books, you pay adult hardcover price, which is more expensive. Oh, yeah, because the next books are adult.
Huh.
Yeah, I know. Like, could it get steamier? I guess so.
Actually, that makes sense because I had to buy my mom a book for Christmas, and I was so shocked with the price. But maybe it's because it's an adult book.
I guess that's why it's so much more expensive. I didn't realize that there was a price difference between YA and adult hardcover.
I thought there was a price difference, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I thought the price differences are usually if the author's really hyped up. I've noticed the price is more.
Oh, totally.
Like Sarah J Maas, she's super hyped up. That's why her price is so much. Like the book I bought for my mom was Janet Ivanovich. She's like really famous. So
yeah.
that's why it was so expensive because they can do that. But maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think that is right. Like I would not doubt it because like they know people are going to buy it anyways, so why not make more money off it, right? Yeah. Yeah, but I forgot that was the thing, that it's an adult, it's in the adult genre now. So that's fun.
So weird.
Oops. Yeah, it is. It's weird that they're like remarketing it. I don't know. Currently reading the Midnight Library. It's a little out of my comfort zone. Yeah, it was out of my comfort zone too, but I read it in I think like 2 sittings. It was enjoyable. I mean, as enjoyable as a book like that can be, but I feel like it was one of those books where like you read it and you actually feel like you took something away from it. Like it was just very like, it was kind of like philosophical almost without being like in your face philosophical. Yes. Ugh, migraines. That's no fun. That actually sucks. I feel for you. On that note, do we want to do another sprint? What do you guys think? Yes. Okay, cool.
Let's do it.
Got one more comment to go through and then I will yes, they're rebranding all her ACOTAR books as adults and they will be adult price now. In a live stream, she said that the next books are super steamy to the point she blushed bright red on her stream. I heard about that. Did you guys see that TikTok with that guy pretending to be Sarah J Maas's mom?
Is it the really funny guy I haven't seen that TikTok, but I think I know the guy you're talking about because he's the best.
It's so funny. There's like a series of them. He made like 2, I think. And it's like, yeah, Sarah J Maas's mom reading A Court of Silver Flames.
I remember Sarah J Maas in an interview one time saying that she wouldn't let her mom read the books, but her grandma loved them and wanted more steamy scenes. Just what's out there.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for that tidbit. I like that. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Charlie said, this is the username maybe of the guy?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I think that's his username. I forget like his name, but like he's always he posts so many TikToks. Like I was trying to find my mom the other day and I was like, I can't even find it anymore. Like it's so back.
I feel like I've sent it to a bunch of people. We might actually have it, either me and Sarah in our messages or like in the like ACOTAR book club group chat. Like I can't remember, but I remember sending it to someone. But
I think he did another one where he was like joking about how he wanted to find a really sexy fae guy. So he was going to go out into the forest and like walk around with a stuffed wolf over his back. Like,
oh my gosh.
I love
That's
that.
amazing. Yeah, he's so funny.
yeah.
Just finished Addie LaRue and was shook. Have
Yes.
you guys read that? I feel like you have, Angela, right? Okay.
I just finished it last week, so I'm kind of right there with you. The ending was so good, but I feel like I'm wondering, Chelsea, do you have like an Instagram? We can just direct message about it.
She does, yeah.
Okay. Put your Instagram username in the chat, Chelsea, and I'll direct message you. But yeah, the ending's like, I could see how some people wouldn't like it because it's not a happy. It's like a medium ending.
Okay. Is it a standalone, Angela?
I think it's gonna be a standalone. I couldn't see how they could do a sequel.
Okay.
They might be so successful, but I don't think they should.
That's fair. That's fair. I've heard so many good things about it. I really, really want to read it, but I just wasn't able to get it. Okay, well, I will set up another stream. Do you guys want to do, or another sprint? Do you guys want to do 25 minutes this time? Yeah.
Sounds good.
If that's too long, let me know, and we definitely don't have to go that long. But I thought maybe we could just do like one more sprint, and then we'll probably wrap it up. Okay. Well, let's see. Look at that. I've had such a bad habit lately of closing out my tab with the timer, but I didn't this time. So yay me. All right, so I got 25 minutes on the clock, and good luck with your reading, everybody, and we'll see you in 25 minutes. Okay, so that's the end of our second and last reading sprint. Let us know how you did in the comments. Sarah, how did you do?
I finished a chapter.
Nice.
Yep. Great stuff. How'd you do?
I read to page 54. So
Sorry?
I read to page 54.
To page 54. Nice.
I forgot how fast moving ACOTAR is. Like, I really like how it's very fast paced.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. I'm on page 23. I did not get very far. This is great. I'm so excited, you guys. This is so much fun. I didn't forget how much I love these, obviously, but like I'm just so excited to be reading them again.
I'm happy that we're only spending a week on the first one and that we're spending 2 weeks on book 2.
Yeah, I thought that would be like kind of a good time frame because I mean like I feel like ACOTAR is the most like simple one too. So like it's not like the next two where you really have to like know what's going on. Like I feel like it's a little bit more straightforward too. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it's enough time. Like I know like for me, I get into like phases where like either like that would be like a ton of time or like not nearly enough time. So oh well. But I think a lot of people are rereading anyways, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Just to let everyone know, there is a tab in the Discord. So I've just named them like per book. So there's an ACOTAR tab. It's like that exact acronym. That's the discussion question. So I posted, I don't know, like 15 discussion questions in there. So feel free to take a look at them. I don't think there's any that are really like spoilery at all. I mean, typically discussion questions aren't really. So you can take a look at them if you want, or you can take a look at them at the end or not at all. It's up to you. But they're there if you would like them. Yumna said, I finished Addie LaRue last week. A little disappointed because it was really different from B.E. Schwab's other books. Might give it a reread in the future. That's fun. This is really making me want to read it. But yeah, I'm just, as I'm reading, I'm just remembering more and more and more how much I don't like Nesta.
That's not a good way to start off the book club. That's leading up to her book.
I know. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, I'm just kind of like, ugh.
Maybe we'll get to see another side of her. I kind of like sometimes when, like, there's spin-offs where it's like a character that you don't like, but then you like them by the end of their book.
Totally, because I mean, like, she didn't really have a character arc over this series at all. Like, I feel like she stayed very the same. So I feel like if it's her book, she needs to have, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah. Do you guys have like a pronunciation guide in the back of your books? Sarah, I know you don't have yours, but maybe you'll remember. Angela, do you have one in the back of your book?
I can check.
I didn't. So the first book that I read, I borrowed from somebody, didn't have one. But then when I bought my own copy, there was one in here, and it's just like so helpful.
I have.
Yeah. Because like I didn't know how to say Farah's name for like my whole read through of ACOTAR. Like I just kind of was like, I don't know. But
how are you pronouncing it? I want to know now.
I think like just like Fair. I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think I still pronounced it. Is it Sarah J Maas or Sarah J Maas? Because I think I pronounced it wrong.
It's Maas.
Okay. Maas.
I've heard lots of people say Moss, but like, yeah.
I think that makes me feel better because I usually say Mass, and then I got like some comments on TikTok saying like it's Moss, like you're not saying it right, and I'm like,
no, I'm like very sure that it's Mass.
In interviews and stuff, that's how she pronounces her name is Maas.
Okay, perfect.
I'm assuming she knows what she's talking about.
I'm like maybe.
Oh.
Domina says I have one at the back of mine. UK. Oh, what do the UK ones look like? Because I know the Throne of Glass UK covers are pristine. I want the UK Throne of Glass covers. They're so nice. But
I always get so jealous when I like see different, I'm going to call them translations, but different versions of, They're so pretty. Like who the heck is designing these ones? I think it's like Poland or Germany that has like, I don't remember if it's the Throne of Glass covers, but like they have stunning like artwork.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I want that, but I can't read it.
Yeah, I have like so many UK people on Instagram, and like they're just, I'm like, why can't I have that? I actually, the first time I read Throne of Glass, I buddy read it with someone on Instagram from the UK, and I was like, why does your book look so different? But yeah.
If you ever want the UK version, if you shop on Book Depository, at least I haven't shopped there in a couple of years, but they send you the UK versions of books, but they're in paperback form. So if you're going to buy a series, make sure you buy the entire series, because the UK paperbacks are a little shorter than our paperbacks. So I have like a couple of series. I think I have like Cinder right here. Yeah. So I bought like the first two from Book Depository. And so like they have like the UK covers. And then I bought the Crest in the US. But like if you look at them.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Not the same size.
Wow, not at all.
No.
Yeah, but they have the new ones.
Okay.
I've never read that series. I've heard of it. Is it good?
I read it when I was a kid and I really loved it. I'm not sure if I would like it as much now. There's certain like young adult series that I loved as a kid that I'm not sure, because they're young adults that are actually written for young adults.
Right.
So that series and The Selection were two I loved that I'm not sure I would love them.
Yeah, that's another one. Is The Selection where the girl's name is America?
Yes.
That troubles me.
That bothered me so much.
I have such a hard time with that.
I loved that book series when I was like in middle school. I was obsessed.
I wish I would have read stuff like this in middle school. Like I was so like sheltered because I lived in like a small town. We didn't even have a library. You had to go to like the town over. And like, you know, when you're in a small place like that, like obviously the selection isn't good. So you don't have the selection. So you don't have any kind of like range of what's available to you. But
oh my gosh, no, I was obsessed with like the old classic booktubers, and there was like one in particular who I loved. So I would just watch all of her videos, and like any book she recommended, I was like, oh, gotta go buy.
Oh my god, I love that.
Awesome.
Sabrina says, I have the pronunciations on the back of the book, but I feel it would have been better. I'm having so much trouble with reading right now. Maybe that's why I'm so slow. If it was at the front. Yeah, it's not very like, you don't notice that it's at the back. Like, who's gonna go looking for a pronunciation guide? Like, I do now because of this, but I didn't before. Chelsea says the size difference stresses her out. Same though. I have, so this bothers me so much. I have the first 3 ACOTAR books in paperback, and then I have the novella, like I have A Quarter Frost and Starlight in hardcover. It was a bad decision. But it was on sale.
I have a couple series like that. That usually means I read the first couple books in the series when they weren't as new.
Yes, totally. That happened to me with the I Am Number 4 series, which has like a lot of books. I have every single book in hardcover except for the first one. And they don't sell I Am Number 4 in hardcover as a standalone. They only sell it in hardcover in box sets. And it's also destroyed because I remember this very vividly. I had it in my backpack, and I had a yogurt in my backpack, and it exploded all over the book. This was when I was in like middle school.
No.
Yeah, it's terrible. So not only is it my only paperback, but it's also destroyed. Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
So yeah, if anyone can tell me where I can get a hardcover of I Am Number 4. Because like the other books, like I bought them as soon as they came out, and it was like only available in hardcover. So it's like, okay. But yeah, that's my story. I live in Indonesia. We get both of the US and UK editions of books. So you have to be really careful with the series. Oh, yeah, that would be rough. Yeah. Huh. Charlie said they really loved The Selection. Okay. There's a lot of books in that though, isn't there?
There's the original 3. And
yeah.
2 others that are about like, it's a kind of a spin-off series.
Yeah.
But but they're really short books. And there was a movie made of it, but I'm wondering if the movie production slowed because of COVID, because they were gonna film it in 2020.
Well, maybe I need to read it now, because if there's a movie coming out, I mean,
maybe. You never know with those things. They fall apart so fast.
Yeah, that's fair. Throwing a glass. ACOTAR. That is so disappointing, because when I started reading this series, it was still like a possibility that was happening, and I was like, oh my god, this is so exciting, and now it's not.
It makes no sense to me why they haven't been made into like a TV show yet. Like, they're probably the most like hyped up fantasy young adult series out there. Like,
I mean, like, even just, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but like Sarah J Maas is like, I think it's over 500,000 followers on Instagram and stuff. Like, clearly this is a big deal. Like, I don't know why it hasn't been turned into something.
And she's even bigger, people slightly younger than us. I've noticed that, like, from TikTok and stuff, like, a lot of my audience that's obsessed with her is like still in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a big range of like reader ages for sure. Yeah, but I'm so sorry if you guys can hear this. The Discord is just like blowing up, and I have the notification sound on, and I'm getting all of them on my computer.
Well, now if you check the Discord.
Yeah, Angela just like brought in a boatload of people.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's super exciting.
Sweet.
I did end up putting our Instagram handles in the description, so if anybody's looking for that, they're there. Sarah and I are trying to post on Instagram more consistently this year. Angela already does that, so.
Angela has inspired us, and we're trying to step up our game a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It's like the only other social media platform that I even do. So I was like, if Angela can handle like Pinterest, TikTok, and Instagram and YouTube, I can do 2 of those.
I know. It was like, I don't have any excuses. If she can do 4, I can at least try to do 2. It's funny that you guys are saying that, because I'm actually limiting my Instagram. So I'm going back to only 3 picture posts a week.
Oh, that's what I'm starting with.
I did 4 for a bit, and it was too stressful. So now I'm going to be doing 3. Some of them, honestly, might just be I'm going to put the picture for real. But
so I know you had like 4 content pillars. Are you like removing a content pillar and only posting like in 3 categories then?
No, not really. I think my content pillars have kind of shifted a little bit from when I moved. I think a lot of things have shifted in the past since TikTok started.
Yeah, well, because you're going more like bookstagram-ish, right? Yeah. Where did I leave off here? Really hope one day they make a film adaptation. Well, they were like in motion, and then she bought the rights back for them, as far as I know. That's what I read.
Did she?
Yes.
Oh.
Either just ACOTAR or both were in motion, but I've heard that they weren't going to produce them the way she wanted, so she bought the rights back. I think if you Google it, you can find some information about it. Yeah.
Good for her.
Like, I know. I was like really obsessed with it for a while. Like I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be a show. Like, and they started like talk about it in 2018, I believe, or maybe even earlier than that. And then like, yeah, I hadn't heard anything for a while, so I was like, what's happening with this? But yeah,
it needs to be like HBO needs to pick it up or something. Like it needs to be like it needs to be like Game of Thrones level.
I would love it on like the CW network or something, you know, like they did like Vampire Diaries and like Angela.
I don't think I agree with Sarah. I think it's more of an HBO vibe than
I don't even know what HBO is. Like I don't have
I think CW could do okay with ACOTAR, but Throne of Glass would over romanticize it.
That's fair.
Yeah, Throne of Glass needs like, it might just be because of the dragons, and the dragons need to be done well. Personal thing.
Fair.
But we need like, sounds so bad. We need like the violence that's shown in the books in the TV show, and that can't be played down.
I think Hulu though, or Netflix could do a good job with it.
If they put if it had like a solid budget, yeah.
Netflix has been doing pretty. Yeah.
They really have been.
Netflix has been doing like okay with stuff. Like I've been like liking some of the Netflix original stuff, which like when they were first doing the Netflix originals, I feel like I didn't like them as much. And now I'm like, okay.
It's really Netflix originals. Either it's like the best thing I've ever seen, or it's like, what was that? Why does that exist? Like, there's no.
I know. It's like I lost brain cells watching that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd be scared that a TV show series would be like the Shadow. Don't even talk about the Shadowhunters. That just like hurts me on a personal level.
Yeah. Or like the Percy Jackson movies. Not good.
Oh my gosh. I actually liked like the movie that they made of the Shadowhunter. I liked the Mortal Instruments movie. And then I don't know why they didn't continue with them. And then like now I do not like the show. But that's I think because I watched the movie first. And I'm like, who are these people in the show?
I love Lily Collins, but I did not enjoy the movie. I remember being so disappointed when I saw it.
I was like pretty young when I first watched it though, I think. So like I don't know if I really knew what was good.
Well, I watched it in the theaters, but I had just read the first book like right before that. So I think that's probably why I was like, what is this?
Fair.
I think the movie worked well to bring in new readers for like the rest of the series because they didn't make more movies. But yeah, I didn't think Lily Collins was the perfect actress for it. But like overall, it was a whole lot better than the TV show.
Fair. I just like I really like Lily Collins as well. So like I feel like that made me partial to it. And I can't remember his name right now. I'm pretty sure it's Jamie Campbell Bower who plays Jace. I think. But I really like him.
Right.
I think so. I would look it up, but I'm too lazy. Let's see. Also, just a reminder, I was just thinking about this earlier. Try as best as you can to keep this Discord PG. It's like we're trying to be very friendly, kid friendly. A lot of young people read these books, so we're just trying to keep it as, clean as possible. So just remember that when you're posting in the Discord. If you guys want to have chats amongst yourselves elsewhere about that, that's fine, but just in the Discord, try your best.
I know for sure that there's going to be like at least one 14-year-old because someone posted on TikTok about how they were 14. So
yeah, so we're going to try our best to moderate. And I don't know how Discord works. I don't know if they censor stuff. Like I don't know what their thing, because I know Discord is supposed to be, because you can create like NSFW channels and stuff. I didn't do that. But anyways, just a heads up. I'm gonna put a reminder in the Discord as well. But and of course, just be friendly and nice to people. Chelsea said Heir of Fire was supposed to be picked up by Hulu, but nothing has happened since 2016. Yeah. Oh. And I believe it was going to be called Queen of Shadows, if I recall correctly. That's like what the series was going to be called. And Sarah's just like, yes.
It's the best book.
Yeah.
I commented on Angela when you guys did your collab about tier ranking your books and stuff. I commented that Queen of Shadows is a book that I would sell my soul to read again for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Just so good.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I agree. My content pillars are Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, which I'm starting this month. That's fun. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are probably, going to have similar resolutions to try and up their content game, but I'm trying. Anyways. Diane said, I never watched the movie or read the books, but I did like season 2 and 3 of the show. Oh, yeah. It's funny. When I said I didn't like it, I was thinking again.
It definitely got better a little bit better after the first season. I think they finally found their groove and stuff. It did. Okay, sorry. Nitpicky. It bothered me how big they made the runes, in the show and stuff.
I know.
They were supposed to be able to have 80 on them or something, and it's little. I imagine little tattoos and stuff.
Their entire forearm. Yeah. I was a little shocked at that. Like, I was just like, what's going on?
Yeah, I was very confused.
I feel like that's not nitpicky. Like, I feel like that's like important. I don't know why they did that. I also, fun fact, I totally used to draw those on myself with like eyeliner when I was a kid.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I was really obsessed with those books for a while. Hence why I'm doing a reread, I guess. But I don't think I ever made it through the 6th book. I think I got it to like the 5th one, and then I didn't finish.
Which one is the 6th book?
City of Heavenly Fire, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Also Diane, hello. Saw the actress that played Clary at the Toronto Raptors game. Oh, that's fun.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. I forgot you were Canadian.
Love that.
I know. Queen of Shadows. Yeah, the only reason I remember that is because I swear I saw something about it the other day that I was reading, and I like was super excited for a second because I was like, oh my god, it's happening. And then the like caption of the Instagram post was like, no, this isn't happening. I was like, I never read captions on stuff like that, but it just caught my eye.
And then you sent it to me, didn't you?
I did, and then I was like, oh wait.
Yeah,
that was so mean. I got so excited.
I sent it.
Dwindled before. I was like, oh my gosh, it's coming back. Like they're gonna be real now.
Because I sent it before I read the caption because I like never read captions. So I like sent it and I was like, oh God. So yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry. Took forever to read City of Glass, like 4 years. That's fair. Yeah, I'm a little bit scared to start the reread because I'm scared that I'm not gonna like them as much as I did before. I'm planning on doing like a series, making it a series to do like, you know, like a vlog or something for all 6. So we'll see. Some of them are really big, I think, because I'd never read the books. Yeah, that's fair. You wouldn't know, right? Like if you've never read the books, like it would not seem weird at all because it's like, okay, but yeah, it was questionable at best. I think we're probably gonna end this here. Do you guys have anything to add? No? Do you want to do a little like plug outro for your channels?
Sure. Other than just saying that I am very excited about I'm very excited about this book club. So happy that I'm getting to be a part of it. But I'm Sarah Lebrot. I post videos twice a week about writing and reading as I'm slowly getting back into reading. And yeah, that was one of the worst outros I've ever done.
It was beautiful, Sarah. It was.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I'm Angela Ann, the friend of all the good YA book recs and literary lifestyle tips, and I post bookish and writing videos here, and also over on Instagram and TikTok, and I think I'm going to be doing a Court of Thorns and Roses vlog and like vlogging all the books for this too.
Ooh.
I'm excited to be part of this book club.
I just want to thank Sarah and Angela so much for their help with this because they really helped pull it together and get everything organized. Sarah came in clutch with this thumbnail, and Angela broadcasted this all over her social media and is responsible for like 90% of the people who joined. So thank you so much, you guys. Sarah, you're having a live stream in an hour as well on your channel, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys are looking for writing or want to do more reading sprints, Sarah's having a stream in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you guys all. Oh, no, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I was just going to jump in really fast and say, because it's January 1st, we're doing 20-minute, 21-second sprints.
Aw.
I love that.
I thought it was cute. So yeah, that's happening in an hour.
Well, I will be there for sure. Yeah, thank you guys all so much who participated. I'm honestly like so excited about this. I wasn't really sure how this was going to turn out. I was just kind of like, yeah, let's do it and see, but it seems like it's going to be pretty good. So just a reminder, the stream for this book, so the deadline to finish it, I say deadline, but like it's fine. It's not that serious, is January 9th. So we'll see you on January 9th. I hope everybody has a great New Year's Day and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I didn't press end. I'm so sorry.